All right, Shalom, it's your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm going to jump right into the scriptures. This is Matthew 16 and 24. And it says, Then Yahweh Shai said unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Let's get that word deny. It says to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone, to forget oneself, lose sight of oneself and one's own interests. So that's gonna be the that's gonna be the mode of the day and the times that we're living in. Self-denial. You're gonna have to deny yourself on a carnal level, so-called comfort. Also in this truth, also goes without saying in this truth also, you who do have to deny yourself, you have to discipline yourself to be a more holy man, to live a life more acceptable to the Most High. And that calls for a lot of self-denial. That calls for a lot of sacrifice. That calls for a reprioritizing of your entire life to adjust it to this truth. The other Gabar said in a video a long time ago, he said we don't live our lives. We don't revolve our lives. We don't let the truth revolve. Something to the effect that, let's see what I'm trying to say. Salakia, you don't adjust the truth to conform to your lifestyle. You adjust your lifestyle to conform to this truth. In other words, and that causing denying yourself, man. And as we go further into these so-called days of uncertainty, and it's only days of uncertainty if you're not in these scriptures. These are only days of uncertainty if you don't know what the prophecies say. We know the things that are coming, and we know that they're going to happen at a very quick and rapid pace, and that's gonna call for that denial of oneself, the denials of the carnal comfort, the false sense of protection, the false sense of security that you think you have in this life. Because at the end of the day, there is no protection, there is no security, there is no feeding of your belly without the Most High. But since this devil wants to make himself God, he wants to control every element of your life, and that's why he's making these technological advances. So-called the chip. That's why he's implementing it in everything and anything he can, ultimately to put inside of you. Now they already said in the news that they have a chip to detect the so-called COVID. So where do you think they're gonna put that chip? They're gonna put inside you, and so that goes back to the mark of the beast, man. That fits prophecy, and in order for you to conform to the standards of society, in order for you to conform to continue to live, and we keep on bringing this out because this is the time that it is, man. We constantly bring this fact out. That's how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be a easier war. Either you get down with the program, or you can't be in the program. And if you're not in the program, guess what? You have access to nothing. So that's what it is. That's what's coming. So we're gonna have to deny yourself. We're gonna have to deny yourself and take up. I'm gonna that back. Yahweh Shai said to the disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. What's that cross? That's the burden of this truth, so to speak. Because the other Ramnath, he made a recent video that this truth can be a burden to you sometimes. As glorious as it is, and as wonderful and beautiful as it is, it can be a burden to you at times. And that's when you get going in the spirit, you get salty in the spirit, so to speak, You have experience in the truth, because we always remember, the flesh gets weary. You know, so that's part that when it comes to that, that when it means taking up the cross. Taking up the cross. That means taking up those burdens that come with this truth, because it's not all. It's a straight gate, man. Yahweh Shai said it was the path of difficulty. Few there be that find it. That's why it's called an endurance race. This is an endurance race. And endurance is painful. If you ever trained for endurance, if you ever done exercises or jobs that required a high degree of physical endurance, then you will know that it's painful. Because endurance is withstanding discomfort and pain and lack of something for long periods of time. That's what endurance is, man. Let's get that word let's get that word cross. It says cross will instrument most cruel and ignominious punishment. Let's see what else they got. Not by stake. Let's see, it says a well-known instrument of most cruel and ignominious punishment, borrowed by the Greeks and Romans from the Phoenicians, to wit, were affixed among the Romans down to the time of Constantine the Great. The guiltiest criminals, particularly the basest slaves, robbers, the authors, betters of insurrections, and clergy, betters of insurrections. That's how they're going to look at us, man. They're going to look at us as the betters of insurrection. They're going to look at us as criminals, the basis of slaves. Because if you have this truth, then you automatically, that makes you an enemy in the eyes of the so-called government. It says, and occasionally promises the opportunity pleasure of the governors, upright and peaceful men, also even Roman sin themselves. So, the cross is a punishment. It's a burden. It's something that you got to go through. It's a process, and that's what this truth is. It comes with pain, basically. It says, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. And denying yourself, that means you gotta take some type of affliction upon you, a burden upon you. And when you come into this truth, you have the burden of responsibility. You have the burden of obligation. You have the burden of accountability to the Most High. There's every day when you wake up. I always tell brothers this. Every day when you wake up, you have obligations to fulfill to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You have a conduct, a code of conduct to live up to, a standard to live up to for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You gotta study, you gotta make videos, you gotta go out of your way to make sure these things get done. You gotta prioritize those in life. You gotta do things for the Most High to be in this truth. Every day you gotta show your works, man. Faith without works is dead, right? So every day you got to show your works. Every day you are obligated to the Most High, because every day you gotta push that plow, and there's no taking your hand off the plow, man. There's no taking your hand off the plow. The scriptures say that. If you don't take your hand off the plow, you don't look back. That's part of that enduring. That's why the scriptures talk about he that endureth to the end, the saint shall be saved, because it's gonna be a continual process of you being in states of affliction, states of trial, states of testing. And as we continue on in these last days, those trials and testing and afflictions are going to be more severely upon the men of the Lord. Verse 25 says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. That self-preservation mode, which is the mode of you people, because you're gonna go get with Esau's program to save your own life. We gotta eat mentality. We gotta put food on the table mentality. We gotta work mentality, meaning that you don't trust the Most High. That takes a high degree of faith, because you can't see it, but you gotta believe it to be so. And that's where you gotta build up your faith in these times. You got to believe, man. Plain and simple. It says, whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. Whosoever loses his life for my sake shall find it for my sake. So you're going to have to stand up. And it could mean your life, man. You're going to stand up for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You're going to have to be bold for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for this truth, for what you profess you believe to be as a man of the Lord. And that's going to cost you your life. That ultimately can cost you your physical life. And if you're a man of the Lord, then that shouldn't bother you. You know, it shouldn't bother you. Being in the carnal flesh, we're going to be bothered by these things, but it shouldn't bother you. You know, you got to constantly think about these things, man. So with that, I'm going to get a few more scriptures. This is Acts 14 and 22. This is Acts 14 and 22, and it says, confirming, let's get the word confirming. It says, strengthening the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. You know, so that's contrary to what the Christian church teaches. You got to continue in this faith. Let's get that word continue. You just don't say a magic prayer and all of a sudden you're saved. You got to continue with this faith. Yeah, you got to persevere, Yakan, to remain and continue to persevere in anything, a state of mind, to hold fast, to be true, to abide by, to keep. So you got to abide, you got to hold fast in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter the kingdom of Yahweh. So that's part of the cross, man. And like I said, as the world changes around us at a very rapid pace and is gearing up to be against the man of the Lord, those tribulations, those trials, and those tests are going to increase in severity. And you got to prepare your mind for that. You know, let's get that quick continue right there again. You know, you got to prepare your mind for that, to remain and continue to persevere in anything, a state of mind. You got to prepare, you got to have the mentality. You got to prepare your mind for that. You know, with that, I'm going to get 1 Thessalonians, see if I can find it, pointed to affliction. Okay, see that. Thessalonians. Yeah, kind of. So I'll start at verse 1. Well, 1 Thessalonians 3 and 1. So wherefore we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left alone, and sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of Yahweh, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Yahweh Shai. So this is talking about Timotheus. He was a man of the Lord. He was a worker. He was a servant of the Most High. That's why I call him a fellow laborer. He did the work in the gospel of Yahweh Shai to establish you and comfort you concerning your faith. So encourage. He was going to encourage them brothers, man, that no man should be moved by these afflictions. Let's get that word. Shaken. So we should not be shaken about the afflictions that are going to come upon on us as men of the Lord, as men boldly standing up for this truth. For you yourself know that we are appointed thereunto. So these afflictions, these persecutions, these trials and tests, they are appointed to the man of the Lord by the Most High. Yeah, they were appointed. Salah. To lie to one buried within the aquaticum, the city of things to vessels. That's not a good one. Oh, yes, go here. To be destined, to appointed, to be made, laid down, to lie in the power of the evil one, held by the devil. To be destined, appointed. To be by God's intent set. Example, destined, appointed to. So we are set by the Most High to suffer these afflictions. That no man should be moved by these afflictions, for ye yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. So these are part of the truth, man. These are the conditions of the battle, so to speak. For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it come to pass, and ye know. For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means attempt to have tempted you, and our labor be in vain. So the point of it is this: we are appointed to affliction. Just like Yahweh Shai is pointed to the things that he got to go through. You know, scripture saying that the servant is not greater than the master. We are appointed to persecutions and afflictions and these tests and trials that are coming upon the earth, man, in the form of these laws, draconian laws being passed, which is gonna pretty much go against the man of the Lord. You know, so we are appointed unto afflictions, man. We are appointed unto these tribulations. Let's down and get 1 Peter 5:10. It is 1 Peter 5:10, and it says, but the power of all, but the God of all grace, who has called us into his eternal glory by Meshach Yahushai, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen you, settle you. That's the MO, man. That's how it's going to be done. That's how our perfection is going to be attained, by suffering. So the scriptures clearly say it, man. So you got to prepare your mind for that, so it won't come to you as a surprise. You know, I'm going to get Matthew 10 and 28. Two more scriptures, I'm going to close it out. This is Matthew 10 and 28, and it says, and fear not them which kill the body, meaning Esau, Edom, meaning this devil, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So our trust is in the Most High, our fear is in the Most High. Be scared of that. You know, but the carnal mind of these people, they're gonna be in fear of not eating, so to speak, of not working, so to speak, of not maintaining their lives here, their comfortable lives here in America. Because there are a lot of people, they're gonna do that. They're gonna get with the program, you know, so they can continue, they can go back to normal, like they like to call it. It says, are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, ye are more value than many sparrows. So the men of the Lord are going to be taken care of, man. The very head of our hairs are going to be in check, are going to be safe. You know, so I'm going to get another scripture, Luke 21:15, I think it is. So that's where our trust is. Our trust in these scriptures like these. The Bible's telling you everything, man. It's telling you what's going to happen to you. It's telling you what you got to go through. It's going to tell you what the reward of faith is going to be. But it's also telling you that it ain't going to be easy, man. It's also telling you it ain't going to be easy. So talking about, so with the previous verse, we talk about the very hairs of our head are not numbered, man. So there's accountability there. The Most High takes accountability of each and every elect man, right down to the very hair of their head. Not even a single strand of your hair will be put into subjection under, unless the Lord wants it that way. Unless you are there to be a mark of the truth. But basically, there's a protection, man. Then the elect are going to make it. It says, I will start verse 20. Luke 21:14 says, settle not therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer. That's talking about how, talking about the persecution of the saints. It says, for I will give you a mouth and a wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay or don't resist. So the Lord's going to put the Spirit on you to make decisions that align with His will. You should be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. Some of you shall they cause be put to death. You should be hated of all men for my name's sake. Why? Because you ain't, they're already doing that, man. They're already doing that. They've been doing that. But it's going to increase on a higher level, on a more severe level. But there shall not a hair of your head perish. So that there's going to be a hedge around the elect, man. An impenetrable hedge around the elect. It says, in your patience possess your souls. But it requires patience. And I think that word patience goes into suffering. Let me see if I'm correct. Patience, steadfastness, consistency, endurance. In the New Testament, the man would not swerve from deliberate purpose. Let's get that. Go back to that. It says, not swerve from deliberate purpose as a loyalty to faith and piety by even the greatest trials and sufferings. See that? Patient and steadfastly. A patient, steadfast waiting for, a patient, enduring, sustaining perseverance, man. So through suffering. So patience and suffering go hand in hand. It says, and patience and your suffering possess your souls. So these are the scriptures that, we got to think about, keep in your mind. You got to play scenarios in your head. You know, every day's a movie. And if you're the elect, you're one of the main characters. So act, put on the act. That's why I said put on there for the elect. Play that role, man. What would the elect do? Ask yourself that question. What would the elect be doing? How would the elect conduct themselves? How would and you got to remember that the angels give report to the Most High. They carry our prayers. You know, so obviously they most likely give a report of our actions also. So you gotta put on there for the elect, man. You gotta walk that walk. You gotta suffer patiently. Well, with that being said, man, it's a real quick lesson. I don't know if it's quick. Kind of went over a little bit too long, yeah. But most I win, hope is edifying. So I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Kal Halal Yahweh Shem Shai. Brothers, keep on pushing. Shalom.